Hey, welcome to Lucky Bourbon Society. I'm Tim.
I'm Robin.
And we are at the beautiful St. Augustine Distillery. We're getting ready to do a review on their anniversary bottle, the Timekeeper, right after this. Hey, all right, welcome back. And we are here with the master distiller, Rick DeMontmollin, at St. Augustine Distillery, one of our favorite places to come. And we're here to try out and review the 11th anniversary bottle barrel, and it's called the Timekeeper.
Timekeeper, that's right.
Tell us a little bit about the building.
Yeah, so this is a over 100-year-old building. So this was built in between 1905 1907. We don't know exactly when it was built, but it was originally built to be a small power plant, which is really cool. So it was functioning as a power plant for about 10 years. They kind of consolidated FP&L in the area, and they ended up stopped producing power here. But you probably noticed on your way in, we have that big substation that's right next to us, so they kept the land that's immediately around the building, but they started manufacturing ice blocks here, which is really cool. And if you look right over your head, you'll see beams that have numbers on them, and that actually was where all the bays for the ice was, where they would freeze them, and they'd say, number 4 is done, and they come in, they grab those blocks, and they'd swing them right out the door, take them down to the fisheries, and throw the fish on the ice so they could get it out of the area fresh, which didn't happen before that. So around 1955, 58, somewhere around there, refrigeration was going into people's homes. They stopped producing ice here because they didn't need it anymore, and the building largely sat abandoned during that time from 58 until a couple of people came in, offices, they did some like camera manufacturing in here, that kind of stuff, and then our founders found it in the late 2000s and decided, let's bring manufacturing back to this building, and that's when they started formulating the plan for what's now the St. Augustine Distillery.
That's awesome.
So a lot of history in this building. If we could only, you can only imagine what happened with the old timers when they were
Making ice.
Making ice, yeah.
You know,
What a commodity then.
especially even though it's an ice plant, you know, you still have that Florida heat and everything going on.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm quite sure there's some pretty rough and tough tumble guys in here hauling ice around.
Absolutely. And I mean, you don't feel it right now, but in the summer it's in the high 90s in the room that you're standing in. So, you know, a lot of sweat has happened here over the years.
For sure.
All right, so a little bit about your distillery here and your pot stills. I've noticed you got a couple big ones back here.
Yeah, absolutely. So right behind me is Bessie, which you may be able to see on camera, and probably off camera is Ella, which is just to my right here. So those are our 2 pot stills. This one's 750, and that's our stripping still, and then Ella is our 500, that's our spirit still. So of course they have 2 separate jobs. The stripping still kind of takes our distiller's beer, evaporates the low wines off of it, which this tote that you're standing right next to here is low wines, and then the spirit still, of course, finishes that into a finished product. It separates into the heads, the hearts, and the tails for us.
Pretty neat.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure all of your mash bill, everything you use, your corn, everything is local Florida products.
It is, as much as we can get it. There are certain times of years where we can't get good grain from the state of Florida, and we end up having to go a little farther from that. But our malted barley is always from Minnesota. Not a lot of people malt barley in the state of Florida or can grow it because it's a hardy crop. So we've always had to go out of the state for that. But the corn and the wheat, as much as we can get it, is from the state of Florida.
Very cool. What's the mash bill on the Timekeeper?
60, 22, 18. So 60 corn, 22 malted barley, 18 wheat.
Is that pretty standard of your bourbons? Or?
Of our bourbon, yeah. So that's the mash bill that we've made since day one.
Okay.
We've actually made a slight change to that a couple of years ago, but that won't come out. You have to wait for bourbon. So a couple of years, but we made a little tweak to that. But we like that kind of high malt flavor, and it's particularly on a pot distillation setup like the one we have here. It's really robust. It gives it a big big mouthfeel, and all those kind of chocolatey and nutty notes come through, which is really cool. And that's something we've really cherished, especially in this high humidity. Really turns out really nice for us. So.
And obviously with Florida, where like Texas and any of these hot climates, you know, you have a quicker barrel time. What's your average time in a barrel on some of these?
So our real Goldilocks zone is 4 to 6 years.
Yeah.
We typically don't go beyond 6 years. Every now and again we will, but it's the barrel individually that kind of has to tell us that. We really don't start checking until around 3 to 4 years. At that point, we know whether or not something's developing and it wants to go for longer. But for us, most of our barrels are in between 4 and 6 years.
How often are you back there sampling these barrels to see where you're, because I know some you just want to stop and you're good to go. Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Never stops.
I need that job.
Yeah. It's more intense in the winter. You know, our flavor profile is a little preferable when it's colder and everything's pushed out of the wood and you get all those kind of rich extractives out of it. So winter's really the big tasting time. In the summer, we're just looking for single barrels and we're trying to see how things are developing, you know.
For the timekeeper, how long has that barrel been sitting? When was that in this building here or one of the rick house?
So that one actually spent its entire life here,
Okay.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
So that one's a 6-year-old, which is really cool. But it actually stayed on site, which is really cool. So it jumped way up in proof, which is really cool. That's something that's unique to this building. So most of our barrels that are in an offsite warehouse, they tend to go down in proof. But we get both ways depending on how close it is to an airflow source. But pretty much everything here goes way up in proof.
Okay.
Sweet. And you guys have a whole new process in your bottling experience, and that's why we're here
Absolutely.
to check that out.
Yeah.
We've done them in the past, and we'll compare it to, we'll do a review on that, on the new and improved.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And see how that is, and get a little taste of this and see where we're at. So,
Yeah.
hey, let's move along, and
Yeah.
we'll go check it out.
Yeah, let's do it. Perfect. All right. So we're here to do the bottle your own experience of the Timekeeper. So this is our brand new shiny bottling experience right behind you here that we just got. But I'm just going to kind of take you step by step, and we're going to fill your own bottle.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah. So let's start by cleaning it. So the most important thing here is making sure that our bottle is nice and clean before you fill it with that awesome bourbon that we've been aging for 5 years. So 2 steps to this process. So you got your gas pedal down here, and then you got a rinser right here. So what I always tell people is to flip the bottle upside down, put it right on top of that rinser, and then go ahead and push it down. And then after it's pushed down, then step on your gas pedal.
Okay.
There you go. So what you're rinsing that with is actually this same bourbon. So we want to keep it pure all the way through. So we take a little bit of the Timekeeper, we put it in here so that nothing touches the inside of that bottle except for more bourbon. So it's going to rinse it out, it's going to make it clean, but it's also not going to change the flavor whatsoever.
Very cool.
So that's step 1.
Okay.
So step 2, we're going to put it right underneath the nozzle over here. So you got 2 levers you got to deal with here. So this lever, what you're going to do is going to be the first step. We're going to open it up, and that's going to allow bourbon to fill this chamber here, and it's going to automatically stop. It has a valve on the top of it. It's going to let exactly 750 milliliters go into this chamber. Then we're going to close that one back up, and then you're going to open this lever to the right, which is going to allow it to fill into the bottle. The only thing I'd say is on this one, you have to be a little aggressive with it. You have to just go straight to the right. So if you want, go ahead and squeeze that and then push it straight up.
Do it.
Yeah. And you see it filling right there.
Nice.
Yeah. The visual part's really cool on this. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like the whole pot still on the top and everything.
Yeah. And while it's filling, we can talk about what this is too. So this is actually an exact representation of our mash bill. So you got your 60% corn here on top, and it's milled. You've got your wheat in the middle, and you've got your 22% malted barley on the bottom there, which is really cool.
Very cool.
Kind of lets people know exactly what, this is made out of.
All right, we'll drop this handle.
Give it just a second. You'll actually hear it hiss a little bit. There you go. Yep, and then just close this one back to the right. There you go. All right, now this is the tricky part. Just grab this and go straight to the right. There you go. Some people don't want to do it that hard. Some people want to go real slow.
Just move it. We want the bourbon.
That's exactly right.
So how many bottles do you think you're going to yield on the timekeeper?
I think it was in between 120 and 130, so it won't be that many. Yeah, I think it was about a 40% loss if I remember right.
So it's a pretty exclusive bottle. You want to get up here and get this. Don't sleep on it. We're going to put this video out right away, especially for our local folks. Do you guys do any shipping or no?
We don't.
We don't ship, so you need to get here, get into the gift shop, and pick up this bottle.
Yeah, this is a distillery exclusive for us.
Once we get it bottle filled and we move on, we're going to do a little review and test with you. How's that?
Where's the actual barrel?
Oh, it's actually above your head.
Okay.
Yep, it's over there, right behind that curtain. Yep.
Very cool.
Yep. It's a little slow, but I promise it's worth it.
Oh yeah, it's looking good. I like the color already. That nice dark copper color.
And it tricks me every time when you stop seeing the bourbon here. I'm like, there's no way it's going to make it. But it does.
It does, huh?
It does.
Still in there.
Yep.
That's bourbon magic.
Exactly.
And when did you start this bottle your own experience? Like, when did this barrel come out?
So this barrel has been, let's see, we've had this for a week and a half now, I believe. But we started doing this new system about 2 months ago. Yeah. And we used to have a different system before that, but we got this brand new shiny thing about 2 months ago. Yeah. See, told you.
Wow.
Magically.
That's awesome.
It works.
Right foot in
So
there.
then we just close that one right back up and just be as, yep, there you go. You
Okay.
got it. All right, so now you got a full bottle of bourbon. So now we're going to move on to packaging.
All right.
So right over here. So first things first, don't lay it in here yet because we don't want to spill any of that delicious bourbon. But we're going to get you set up with everything you need. So we're going to get you a cap here. We're going to get you a label. We're going to get you a shrink. Actually, I'm going to get you a couple of those because it always takes a couple tries to get it right. And then we're going to get you a card. So if you want, go ahead and put your cork into the bottle. And be forewarned, it's a tight fit, so you kind of have to put a little effort into it. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So then if you want, let's just lay that down in the jig here so you can get a nice view on it. So now we're going to go ahead and fill out our label. So let me get you a pen here. So all the information that you need to fill out there is going to be on this card. So your proof is going to be, what was that,
120.2?
Yep, 120.2. Oh, I'm sorry. I gave you the wrong card. This is for decadence. One moment. I knew that seemed a little too easy. There's the right card for you.
There you
Timekeeper.
go. We want that 126.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I remembered the proof at least.
So far, how many bottles, your own experience with this particular barrel, have you done in that time?
Ooh, that's a great question. So we're looking at you'll be the 64th.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
I like how you keep the log and the lumber and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody gets to sign in. They get to be a part of the history of the
Yeah,
barrel, which
sure.
is really cool. Yep. All right. So this is a little tricky, but you've probably done some labels before. But really what I try to tell people is just keep an eye on this bottom line right here. That'll kind of be your guide for the bottom of the label. So if you kind of do that and then point this point kind of at the I in distillery, you should end up with a pretty straight label.
It's pretty good to me.
It looks great. I think you've done this before. Yeah. So next step, we're going to put the neck tag on. This one can be a little tricky too, but there's an easy way to do it. I'll show it. So this one in the middle ends up being your front side. So if you want to put that right on the neck, just with those points lined up right in the middle. There you go. Now this tag, you're going to want to wrap that one around the back first, and then usually I spin the bottle from there, and then that way I can kind of see as I put this one on, whether it's lined up right on the back or not. There you go.
Now you guys do all hand bottling here.
We do.
Right? Just in your bottling room. And how many people you employ to do that?
We've got two.
Yeah,
Very good.
Do all the bottling.
Go through all the bottling. It's
That's amazing.
It's impressive how much they put out.
That's a lot of work right there. Yeah. All right.
So next thing we're going to do is we're going to shrink it. Okay. So I'm going to put the mic down for just a second so I can show you that part. Yeah, put the gloves on for this part because it gets a little hot. But I'm going to turn this guy on and let it heat up for just a second. So the real trick with this one, you want about that much off of the top. And the way that I've always done it is I kind of pinch it on the bottom. Okay. And you're going to kind of heat around the top of it. You're going to go one circle on the top. That's just going to get it to where it grips the top of it. Then you want to kind of go all around the bottom. And then from there, you're just cleaning up. You're just kind of tightening any loose edges that you have on there. But be forewarned, this is very hot.
All right.
There you go.
Damn.
That's nearly perfect on the first go. That's incredible. Nobody ever gets it that good. That's well done.
I'm ready to crack that open.
Yeah. It won't stay sealed.
It's not going to stay sealed very long. I can guarantee you that.
Yep. So the last step.
All right.
So we're going to get you a beautiful box for it to go into.
Nice.
So this is brand new to the experience. Actually, we just got these boxes, but you'll notice if you open that up, it's got like the perfect little place for it to sit inside of. So we take your card for the timekeeper. It goes right in the front here. And then your bottle goes in there, and it's easier if you kind of put, yeah, there you go. You got it. It's a snug fit, but we don't want it falling out, so.
That's good.
There you go.
Well, it's a beautiful presentation.
Yep. And that's it. That's bottling in the timekeeper.
Very nice.
Yep.
All right.
And we'll taste it in just a second.
So we'll taste them.
Yep.
Very good.
So we just cracked open our newly poured bottle,
Timekeeper.
the timekeeper.
We're with the master distiller here, but we are going to be totally unbiased. So
Please.
no, seriously, we're gonna let you know, and let's go in for
Let's
a nose.
go in for a nose. Oh. What are you getting off the top?
I'm getting toffee right away, like a caramel drizzle of something or other.
A little bit of char. But I smell a sweetness in there.
Yeah.
So when we grade our barrels, this is one that we'd call confectionery.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of that sugar on the
Sugar.
nose. Yeah, it just tells you how sweet it's going to be right off the bat.
Yeah. Almost like a getting cinnamon or like a just
Yeah.
like a
A little bit of cinnamon.
A little bit of stewed apple maybe too in there.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
All I know is I want to get in it and taste
almost
it.
like I'm kind of getting that Cinnabon, you know, you go to the
Cinnabon?
airport and you're waiting there and there has
It's
this
drawing
Cinnabon.
you to order a Cinnabon.
Little fruity.
I'm going in.
Yeah. Let's see what you got.
Cheers.
You don't need cheers me no more?
Yeah. We got to do
Sorry,
that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
We got to do that.
Let's see.
Cheers. So the proof
Wow.
shows up right off the bat.
yeah.
Yeah.
That spice.
Spice
that
up
bacon
front.
spice. Mm-hmm. Kind of
But it's
rolls down
smooth.
palate. Yep. Starts to lighten up.
It's got a,
I can tell you right
Pretty
now, it's got
long
a
finish.
nice, long, spicy
Absolutely.
finish on that.
Feel it all the way down.
Man,
Yep.
I could just feel that
Kentucky
burn.
hug, right?
Kentucky
Super nice finish.
but it's smooth. It's
And
really good.
Yep. Sweet up front. I'm getting kind of like a caramel apple.
I was just going to say a caramel apple. There's some kind of deep fruit in there. Maybe that's the apple.
Cherry. Let me get back in there.
There's a little
Vanilla.
bit. It's I almost
the back
get. Sometimes I get cherry and like almond in the same place, and I think this one's a little more on the nutty side for me. Like it's almost more towards the almond. Yeah. But God, I love that nose.
Now that you said that, almond, I am tasting that right now.
I'll tell you what, I'm all about the finish, and that It's definitely drinking at 126. You're getting what, I mean, you definitely get what you pay for here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And very nice.
What I love about this one too, roller coaster, like it hits the very front of the
Yep.
tongue, and you get that caramel sweetness, right? You get like the vanilla, all the stuff you expect from bourbon, and then all of a sudden, pow!
Pow.
You know,
Yep.
you get that real proof that hits it, and you're like, ooh, I'm in for real. And then on the breath out, you're getting all this extra stuff. That's
Yeah.
where the cinnamon comes
That's
in.
where the other flavors
yeah.
are coming through.
This
Definitely
is
got some nice legs to it too.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is
And
what
the
we
color
look
is
for.
beautiful.
When we want interesting barrels, we look for that roller coaster of flavor. You know,
Yeah.
it's we're about giving you experience, not just a note. You know,
You got
And
it
this
for
was
sure.
a Minnesota oak barrel.
it was. Yep. Yep. This is a Char 3, 24 months. Yep.
Uh-oh. This is going to give Zach's bottle a run for his money right now.
You hear that, Zach?
Zach
Zach, you got to up your game, buddy.
might be just got knocked down one stave. So
Well, he was certainly instrumental in helping pick this as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
his
This is fantastic.
what was the process in picking this barrel?
So we typically do these barrel picks together. So we're kind of looking for something that, you know, not only we think is really interesting, but something that customers will find a lot in too. Because we know that, you know, not everybody likes those really interesting, funky, you know, sometimes we get like salinated barrels, like stuff like that. And those are very cool to us, but we don't expect everyone to get excited about
Sure.
that. So we kind of go back and forth between one that we think is really interesting and something we're after, and something that's like a little sweeter, you know,
Yeah.
a little more one note. I think this one's kind of perfectly in the middle though. It's got a lot
Absolutely.
to give, but it's
This is
sweet.
perfect.
It's got a great
Sweet,
flavor, sweet
spice. I mean,
spice, yeah, smooth. It's got a really good, long-lasting finish to
Yeah.
it. I mean, I'm still feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, you could just on both sides of my tongue, just let it roll back there. It's like even all the way
Yeah,
back. you know?
yeah. I think that's a perfect description is the roller coaster of flavor.
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster in your mouth.
Yeah, I'm excited to see, you know, once we get it down past, well, we get it down past the shoulder now,
Yep.
get some air into that. And, you know, that's really going to be a sweet bottle.
For sure.
Well, guys, I would say don't walk, run. Get down here. They probably have maybe
probably
60,
half-
70 bottles, you're probably about halfway through.
Yeah.
60 or 70 bottles left. I would definitely get down here and buy one of these. The total experience with the fancy box and everything is $200. You cannot go wrong.
So worth it.
We highly recommend it. Thank you, Rick. We appreciate
Appreciate
it.
you, Rick. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
You know,
coming and
Augustine
visiting me
Distillery.
today.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Really appreciate everything.
Cheers, everybody.
We're out.